Hey guys, Andy N, Spoken Label. The very talkative and equally wonderful Jamie Woods. Straight over to Jamie now. He's going to do, I believe, 4 pieces for us. So go for it, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Andy. So these are taken from my forthcoming, as in I'm recording this the day before it comes out, pamphlet, Rebel Blood Cells. And this is called I Thought I Had a Cold. I thought I had a cold. I was so tired I ran marathons, limping to the kitchen to take ibuprofen for the pain in my joints. I blamed this never-ending cold for the shortness of breath. I explained away the mysterious bruises appearing on my skin like Japanese knotweed. I thought I had a cold, so I had to lie down and a Lemsip for the fever, and only went to the doctor because my laboured deep sighs were annoying my wife. I thought I had a cold.
Great stuff, mate. Indeed, that one. It's interesting, like, people always wonder us when you actually you hear people reading the poems back. I had you visualize you doing that in a different way to what you did it, actually. So it shows you.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
find
yeah.
that sometimes you hear poets yourself, don't you? And you sat there thinking, oh, he's read that really well anyway. I expected not in the way I expected it. So
Oh no,
I
you
expect
read
you.
it.
No, I'm not going to do it
Oh, yeah,
because
you read it.
do you
I'd
want me
love
to do it
to.
then? Okay, it's something people are
Yeah, go
never
on.
going to hear done before. So 1 second. Okay,
God, I'd love to hear that, Andy.
Okay, 1 second. I'll do it. Okay, this is why I'm going to do my acting training now because I'm a trained actor as well. So I'm an actor.
Okay.
I
It's Root Spoken Label. This is Andy N. Is that a new poet, Jamie? Come and
This
do his
really
book.
is an exclusive now because I never do this. Anyway, okay, I'll be serious for it as well. I thought I had a cold. I thought I had a cold. I was so tired I ran marathons, limping to the kitchen, to take ibuprofen for the pains in my joints. I blamed this never-ending cold for the shortness of breath. I explained away the mysterious bruises appearing on my skin like Japanese knotweed. I thought I had a cold, so I had to lie down and Lemsip for the fever, and only went to the doctors because my laboured deep sighs were annoying my wife. I thought I had cold. Right?
You've got like a built-in reverb machine that makes your voice just go like at the start of the show when you get the little plug for your book. It's like I had a dream. And you just got like built-in reverb. It's
Oh,
crazy.
that's tons of reverb. That is me because I've got all kinds of recording and mixing equipment. This laptop. But when I start losing computers, they die me occasionally. It's a nightmare. So that's what I was saying. That one is me, but I put tons of reverb and that I didn't.
No, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key thing about poetry. It's also like, it depends on what mood I'm in when I'm reading it and how appalling my voice is at any given time. It
No,
depends. The vibe. You can read something in the same way that you can play the same song really fast and it sounds punky and angry, and really slow and it sounds mournful and desperate. I think that's it's about a vibe, isn't it?
no, I agree, mate. I agree. But it's just how you interpret it. Like when I'm doing poetry, people look, I will read them back to myself. That's fine. You build, I think you build an automatic voice in your head when you think it's going to sound. So when the writer you're chatting to does it differently, but it still does good. You start, oh, I didn't expect that. Anyway,
No,
mate,
that's really good. Never heard anyone read my poems before, so thank you.
yeah, but a pleasure
Cool.
doing it as well, mate. Because that's the first I've done that on this podcast, right? Off the cuff like that. So, because people, you wouldn't know this, Jamie. I'm actually dyspraxic, so when I had to be prepared to read stuff out because otherwise there's an odd chance I could, pardon me, just got to fuck it all up. I didn't there because that was easy enough to get into the rhythm on it. So anyway, listen, mate, we're going to be here all, pardon me, it's all effing
Yeah,
day
I know,
anyway.
right?
So
It's terrible, isn't it?
I know
It's a lovely day outside.
it's a lovely day outside. We're stuck in here podcasting. So that's it all. Anyway, listen, mate, over to you for piece number 2, mate.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. And I have a great difficulty saying the letter S in any sentence. So it's a joy that I read to you now. The silence of the hospital ward. The silence of the hospital ward. Silence is elusive. When your head is on the pillow and you think that it's close, you complacently relax and it scurries. Clock's ticking. The mundane drip of the tap, the one with handles for elbows that you're too far away from to give a nudge off. The low-level buzz of electric light. The slow wheeze, heart and lung churn of the IV pump. And the siren when it's nearly run out, but you just bump the tube. Other people's ringtones. message chimes, other people's phone calls, other people's conversations, the excitement of family, the desperate anger, the admin of auxiliaries and nurses and doctors, the gossip of auxiliaries and nurses and doctors, the driving mechanics, the alarms, the beeps, blood pressure, oxygen count, your still beating heart, painkillers wearing off, the screams flies wraiths through walls and curtains, biting and snatching away dying hope. At night, at day, no time here, just numbers. The ward whispers sting with invasiveness. The rumbles, breathlessness, and nasal congestion. The snores, the moans hurt like needles. The shock, the pain, the begging. The trundle of the drug trolley and the screams at night, my God, the screams at night, terrify, terrorize, clarion calls for carrion attacks. Not me, not this time. Clock's ticking. Headphones on, I sleep with the spoken word. Smooth voices, TED Talks, and shipping forecasts, waking throughout until thought of the day. Unrested, unblessed, undead.
Excellent stuff, mate. Excellent indeed. And I've not moved the cameras, and I forgot about that. So, no, excellent stuff indeed, mate. Now, if you ever done, I thought with that one, it's interesting. When this is my production, I don't know, but it's a great piece anyway. Again, but if you ever do an audio book of that, you can certainly imagine, can't you? If you have a little bit of hospital ambience at the back of it, you can make it even twice as harrowing, that piece.
It's as if I've got that MP3 already. Yeah.
Oh, I knew you would, right?
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it. Yeah. It's really cool. I love it. But I've recorded that one clean for iamb as well. So that's iamb, which is Mark Anthony Owen's brilliant website. I am the poet. Yes. So I've just been announced that I'm in the new wave of that. So I'm allowed to talk about
fantastic, mate. When's that out then? Have you got a date for it yet?
June 15th.
This podcast will be out just after that, honestly, anyway.
Cool. So yeah, check out.
People check that out first, then come back to this, right?
Yeah. This one's in there plus two others. I won't read either of those. That's fine.
Brilliant, mate. Yeah. Great stuff. No, cool. Really enjoyed that. Okay.
Right.
Straight on to piece number 3, and I will this time.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So this one will come as no surprise for anyone who is watching this on YouTube. A New Hope. Born in the year of our Lord Vader, 1977, when the Emperor appeared on screen, I hid behind the seat in front and the Odeon with my dad, 1983. Action figures and plastic spaceships, annuals and magazines, lightsaber in hand, waiting patient for a new trilogy, but the sky was always empty. 1999, new wave bootlegged fuzz, ghosts and a low-rent bedsit, white noise tracking, VHS nightmares, overflowing ashtrays, years of disappointment and broken sleep. The Force Awakens 2015, The Last Jedi 2017, wife, son, daughter, rejuvenation, redemption, relief. The Fall, Leukemia 2019, in my Boba Fett hoodie, dying on the hematology ward, medical bay, no back to tank. The trailer on repeat, the rise of Skywalker on the free hospital Wi-Fi. No beliefs, no heaven, but my family and Star Wars. Idly, in delirious fever dream, I ask you, your God, is it possible to watch a film, the last film in a 9-film saga in the afterlife? At least, please let me find out what happens. I've waited my whole life. The doctor says the chemotherapy will be like Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing, firing his proton torpedoes into the only weakness of the Death Star, and hopefully we can blow this thing and go home.
No, it's really quite clever writing, that, because it's where you're using 2 different narratives to make it go a different way. No, brilliant stuff, Phil. Really enjoyed that again. Clever writing. Now I've to ask you on a completely side note on this. What's your favourite Star Wars TV series so far, then? We'll keep off the films because that's a divisive thing, that one.
Oh, my good Lord above.
Yeah. I won't be asking for the films. It'll be awkward. I'll go for the favourite TV series.
Well, I mean, for people watching on YouTube,
oh, this is just gone from the sublime to the ridiculous.
I know, right? Yeah, mate. I've enjoyed them all because I'm just grateful that I get to see them again. Quite frankly, the best one without doubt, Andor season 1. Mandalorian season 2, Kenobi. Oh my god. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just in love. Book of Boba Fett's my least favorite, and I love Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. All the stuff behind me is Boba Fett. But yeah, Andor was just like Viva la Rebellion. I mean, Rogue One is just such a sensational film anyway.
Oh
And to
yeah,
make
it's my favourite
oh
out of the nine actually, apart from possibly Empire Strikes Back. Because I do
yeah,
love the
yeah,
Empire
they're
Strikes
my
Back.
top two. So on my website, you'll find a list of my favorite films, of which it's like my top 7 favorite films, and I think 6 of them are Star Wars films, and one of them is the cheerleader rom com Bring It On. But yeah, it's just Rogue One is just my favorite. It's just so good. Love it, love it.
Oh god, yeah, no, fair play, mate. No, excellent stuff. I can't blame you there. People might tell you slightly are a Star Wars fan. That's all I'm going to say there with that. Brilliant, Mr. Mate. But wrap up. Go for part number 4 and number 4, mate. For the big finale,
Okay,
mate. Okay.
so yeah, sure. So this poem in the real version does have a swear in it, so I'm going to just edit the swear out because I can, and it doesn't make too much difference. And this is one of those poems that's talking about where I listen to a song relentlessly, and the song in question was by a little indie band called Scarfo, who later became the Kills, and there's a song called Alkaline, and it has the epigram "Nostalgia Must Die," which is a lyric from that song. And it's called the '90s. The '90s. Nothing really matters in the '90s. We're going to live forever in the '90s. Choose life, take drugs in the '90s. It's also damn ironic in the '90s. Drink perestroika vodka in the '90s. Smoke knockoff cigarettes in the '90s. Watch secondhand bands in the '90s. Paint my eyes, dress for war in the '90s. '60s nostalgia in the '90s. '70s obsession in the '90s. Escape from the '80s in the '90s. Smash glass dance floors in the '90s. Bacterial infections in the '90s, crushed by Prozac in the '90s, blurred out of focus prints in the '90s, black skies lie starless in the '90s.
Sorry, I froze myself then. Oh, great. No, great way of ending that because it takes certainly me back to my younger days and you when you're really slightly younger and that. No, agree to that. My kids have been fortunate in Manchester days. I'm old enough to remember that how mental that went on Manchester and places. So yeah, great stuff, mate. No, well related to that. I mean, great way to wrapping up today. So
Thank you.
I want to thank you today, Jamie. It's been a great session, really has. And good luck with the collection, mate. Definitely that one's on plans for the future. So keep in touch when the full length. I should call the extended mixes out then. Come back on, mate. I'd love to have you on again, mate, right? Yeah, well, we could talk
magic.
more. We could talk more Star Wars nonsense then, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Anything you want, Manic Street Preachers, James, any sort
I
of like
actually
indie
used to know.
music.
I've met Tim Booth from somewhere. I knows him actually many years ago. So,
You've literally got a signed picture of Tim Booth on my wall
oh,
behind me, mate.
the
I
vegan
danced with him.
rock god that is Tim Booth, right?
I wore this shirt and I danced to Come Home with him. He came down into the audience and I danced, and it was the best moment of my life.
Oh.
I have 2 kids. Dance with Tim Booth, best moment of my life.
Brilliant, mate. Because we're going to carry on chatting anyway, guys and girls. But
Yeah.
thank you again, Jimmy. It's been an absolute wonder and a pleasure today, mate.
Thank you
As
so much, Andy.
Don
Cheers.
Callis over at Impact, not formerly Impact Wrestling, now AEW Wrestling says, stay safe and stay damn over. See you all soon.